see the sample implementation of bridge design pattern. This video is very important to learn bridge design pattern, practical implementation in detailed manner. And then I have already covered about the bridge design pattern theory, principles, real life examples in a separate video. If you haven't watched that video, please go and watch that video and then come to this video. That video link would be present in the description box of this video. And then if you are planning to buy software design patterns book, then the best book name and the product link would be present in the description box of this video. So you can click on that link, you can directly buy that book on online on Amazon. So let's come to the bridge design pattern sample implementation. This program might be a little bit confusing one because it involves many interfaces and many implementing classes, but if you watch this video 2 or 3 times, then you could easily get the real intention or real scenario behind the problem. And then I have already pushed this code into the GitHub. If you want to execute this code in your local machine, then you could clone the GitHub code and then you could execute those things in your local machine so that you could get better understanding. The real idea behind bridge design pattern is it's need to decouple the abstraction layer and then implementation layer. So there is an abstraction layer and then there is an implementation layer. If we want to decouple, if we want to change the abstraction layer alone, then we should be able to do that. If we want to change the implementation layer alone, then we should be able to do that. So bridge design pattern focuses on those things. So we can change abstraction layer without affecting the implementation layer. Here, this is the abstraction layer. This is the abstraction layer. This is the abstraction layer. Sorry. This is the abstraction layer, and then this is the implementation layer. We can add new features into the implementation layer without affecting the abstraction layer. Similarly, we can add new features into the abstraction layer without affecting the implementation layer. So there is these points states about that. It is mainly used for implementing platform independence feature. If you are trying to create an application which is a platform independent, then this would be very useful. Here there are two interfaces. One is file downloader interface, which will be act as an abstraction layer, which will be present in the abstraction layer. There are two abstract methods, download and store. And then file download implementer. This interface is present in the implementation layer. So download file and store file. If we are adding a new feature in the implementation layer for internal purpose, then that won't be affected. In abstraction layer. If we are adding delete file here, then that won't be affected in this abstraction layer. We can add the internal features without affecting the abstract layer. Similarly, if you are adding new feature called delete here, then that won't affect the actual implementation layer. So that's the main motto. This might be very confusing, but if you download this code from the GitHub and if you execute in a local machine, then you could get the actual motto behind this program. File downloader interface is the interface which is present in the abstraction layer. So this interface has two abstract methods, download and store. This interface has been implemented by file downloader abstract implementation. Here it implements file downloader interface and it has a file download implementer variable. So if we are trying to send Linux file downloader implementer object at the runtime, then this class will use that object and it will try to download and store. If you are trying to send Windows file downloader implementer object at the runtime, which means provider, then that will be used and that would be used for downloading and storing. So and then this is file download implementer interface. This interface is present in the implementation layer. So this has two methods called download file and a store file. This interface has been implemented by two classes called Linux file download implementer and then Windows file download implementer. I know this program would be very confusing to the beginners, so please try to watch this video 2 to 3 times. Even if you don't get the actual intention behind this video, then you could clone the GitHub code then you could clone the code that is present in the GitHub. The link for the GitHub would be present in the description box of this video, so that you could get more details about this bridge design pattern. So Linux file download implementer implements file download implementer. Similarly, Windows file download implementer implements file download implementer. It overrides the two methods download file and then store file. Since this is a demo video, I have just written the new empty object. In real case scenario, you need to get the path from the user, which means client, and then you need to write some socket code, and then you need to actually download from the internet. So since this is a demo video, I just written in the empty object. And then in store file, I am trying to print some message called file stored successfully in next message. In Windows the Windows implementation class, I am trying to return the empty object for download file, and similarly for store file, I am trying to print the file stored successfully in Windows machine. So this is the some sample implementation for bridge design pattern. I know this is a very confusing thing, but please try to watch twice or thrice, and then please try to clone the code from GitHub and try to execute that code in your local machine, because this is a tricky and difficult design pattern in software design patterns. So thanks for watching.